Hello.
Hi.
We hope you're watching.
Is there someone there?
Hello out in TV land. We're sorry for the Facebook. We're having Facebook difficulties, but we're hoping that you can see us and hear us. Hi, I'm Virginia.
Hi, I'm Chris.
We don't have Lainey with us because she's swimming. We hope she's not swimming with the dum 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 dum. Jump, dump, 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 dump.
Delaney is here with us.
Lainey, don't worry. You're safe with us. Her, her. Oh, yes, I'm going to the Bahamas. Oh, I am too.
Not jealous.
Not jealous at all. Hi.
Your hair tastes like the beach. All right.
Oh, what lovely gams you have. Anyway, here we are in the studio, not jealous that we're not in the Bahamas with Lainey. But we do have, I don't know, Scooter, if you can, Scooter is shooting off of Chris's phone. So I don't know if, Scooter, you can see all of our fun toys here. We have, this is Bobblehead. We thought we'd bobble around. We have FDR. Virginia, looks nothing like me. Where's Christopher?
There I am.
And Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And Nancy Pearl. Hello, Nancy. How are you? And we did say we would have some drinks.
Booze of some sort.
Christopher, we couldn't find the Prosecco. So
Someone took it.
Someone took our Prosecco.
Oh, yeah, definitely not a twist
Here,
off.
I'll get it.
I thought that was going to work for a second.
Here you go.
Okay.
So we're going to have a cocktail. We're going to have a little beverage and talk about some books. So while Chris is doing that, and I'll hum The Girl from Ipanema.
I don't know what I'm doing.
All right, we should stop.
I figured it out, live audience.
Yay! Thank you.
There we go.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Our other beer doesn't have an expiration date, so I'm going to avoid it because I just don't know. You just don't know.
Chris reached into the back of our fridge and said, "This says June 2019." Like, sounds good to us.
That's when it's peak.
Really?
Peak, yes.
Don't make that up.
Cheers.
Cheers. Happy Facebook Live.
Happy Facebook Live.
Oh, yes. We've brought out all the stops today. We're not going to talk about books. We're just going to have our puppets. This is love this.
I have confirmation. People are saying hi. And we're on the air. It's all going on.
Yay!
This is live?
This is live.
Oh, God.
Yes.
Yes, this is good. It's magical. I don't know what sound that a unicorn makes, but...
After this, it won't make any sound.
Epic battle.
Epic battle. We haven't even had anything to drink. All right, here's to you. Thanks for your patience. We hope you're sitting there.
Thank you.
And here's to 10:30 beer.
It'll do.
Like mother's milk.
All right.
What are we talking about?
What did we come here to do?
I have no idea. Okay, we're gonna talk about some books.
Oh, okay. Yes, books.
Boom.
You want them, we have them. Shall we
You
begin?
start.
All right. Well, one thing that we noticed librarians asking for is more sci-fi, and your calls have been heard. They've been answered. We have a bunch of really cool upcoming sci-fi titles, amongst other things. The first one I'm going to talk about is Chilling Effect by Valerie Valdez. So this is a really cool space opera, kind of irreverent, very like pop culture oriented. Valerie is she's a gamer, so there's a lot of like gaming references in this. But I think Firefly is like that ultimate example of a really great space opera where you have a quirky crew and their kind of rapport and their banters kind of like gives the story a lot of weight. And that's totally what's happening here. So you follow Captain Eva Innocente and her crew on the La Sirena Negra. They haul small cargo around, the universe. It's, they make ends meet, but they're not rolling in it. It's pretty small profits. But Captain Eva, her sister, is kidnapped by this organization, this kind of intergalactic mafia called the Fridge, where they hold people hostage in cryostasis. And basically, Eva has to start kind of chasing bigger game so she can pay the ransom. Little to the knowledge of her crew, so she's kind of keeping that secret. But again, the crew is not your average crew. There is, it's full of psychic cats. There's an amorous fish-faced emperor who kind of has a thing for Captain Eva, but Eva turned down his advances and now he wants her dead. So there's a little onboard tension there. And there's also a technician on board who Captain Eva might have a little bit of a crush on. But it's a really, really fun, fast-paced, again, kind of a hilarious story. And I think our Voyager, our sci-fi imprint at HarperCollins, is doing a great job of bringing different voices to the genre. In this case, Valerie is Cuban-American. And really in the genre, there aren't too many Latinx voices. So this is really filling, I think, a necessary void. And it just has a ton of heart, and it's really fun. I love the cover, and... kidnappers, alien emperors, psychic cats, and she's out of coffee. The last one. Bad news. So really, really fun. This is coming in September. A lot of love out there in library land for this already, so I hope you do check it out. We have galleys. E-galleys are available everywhere. E-galleys are not sold because they're not sold, but they're available everywhere. They're available. So check it out.
Check it out.
Check it out. That's
Changes.
Good song. Great song.
Yes. Check it out.
Someone's asking if any print galleys are available on that one.
Yes, in fact, there are. Who is this person asking?
That would be Jane Jorgensen.
Jane. For Jane, yes, of course. Jane will be in touch. Yeah, so... Maybe, do I do another sci-fi? We want to save that. We want to talk about...
Save it. Save it, and we'll just go back and forth.
Back and forth. I like that.
All right. All right, so we bought these in the airport. Where are we coming back from?
Austin.
I never remember where I am anymore. So sad. Sometimes I'll be at a conference. I don't know if this happens to anybody else, and if it doesn't, don't tell me. I'll be like, what city am I in? Has that ever happened to you?
It's happened to me.
Good
for sure.
answer.
I remember my first year, I hadn't even built up that many conferences, but I told a cab driver to take us to Denver International Airport, and we were in Texas. So it's like the wires get crossed.
That would
the
be
wires inevitably.
One hefty expense report, mister.
He seemed up for it, but
yeah, right.
Road trip.
Road trip. All right. Speaking of road trip,
good segue.
Should we announce it?
Yeah. Okay.
Listen up. All right, so the American Library Association is in June in D.C. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to take our bobbleheads on the road, and we're going to mount them to the dashboard of a van. And we're going to bob our way down to D.C. and stop at libraries along the way.
Indeed.
So if you're interested in having us come to your library, we will have limited time, but we will do our very best to stop by and talk about books to your staff. And maybe we'll even bring FDR, and maybe we'll even bring Ruth Bader Ginsburg. So, oh dear God, she's okay.
Did she say things?
She doesn't. She just has it's the shushing action.
Judo chop.
Yeah, but which is very uncool. Some people were just like not happy about that, and other people were like, oh, lighten up. Anyway, Nancy, stand up. Anyway, so we're going to do this. So if you're interested, let us know. Just write to me and or Chris and say, hey, stop by. We'll be like, okay.
For those of you watching, this is literally hot off the presses. Not literally hot off the presses. There's no presses. But this is the first time we've announced it to anyone.
Yes.
So
Library Love Fest, taking it on the road. Hey-oh! So many cans of Pringles. I cannot wait.
Oh, my God. We need cheesy puffs, too.
Yes, the crunchy or the puffy?
Puffy, because those are easier to throw into the driver's mouth while we're moving.
Oh, dear God. We probably won't make it out of the driveway. All right. Okay, so more to come on that, but yeah, give us a holla. The Last Train to London by Meg Waite Clayton. This is... coming out in September. This is a historical fiction. Many of you know her. She has written several books. New York Times bestselling author, 6 novels, including Beautiful Exiles. Nominated and won many awards. This is This is a pre-World War II era story, and it's about the Kindertransport, which carried thousands of children out of Nazi-occupied Europe. So, Orphan Train, The Nightingale, it's got the same emotional feeling. So, the Kindertransport isn't anything that people don't know about, but this is based on a real person, and some people don't know about her, and you should. Her name is Truus Weissmuller. And it was 1936, Austria, and she gets, there's trouble of ruin, and she starts to smuggle Jewish children out of the country into nations that will still take them in while the borders are still open. But when Hitler invades Austria, country after country closes their borders. So she approaches Adolf Eichmann, who's like the man behind the so-called Jewish problem, and he makes her this crazy deal. Remove exactly 600 children, but she's got to do it in a week's time, and she's got to do it on the Sabbath. So it's a race against the clock, and she manages to do this, and she manages to go on and help others. As I said, she's this little known. It's not a little known story. She's a Dutch woman who people don't know about, and you should. If you Google her, you'll find so much information on her. I went down the rabbit hole and was fascinated by her, and there's monuments to her name, but I don't think in the grander scheme people know about her. Meg Way Clayton is changing that with this book, The Last Train to London. She ends up saving up to 10,000 children. So no book has been written about her before. Think All the Light We Cannot See, Sarah's Key, The Nightingale, Lilac Girls. It's just a timeless and timely story of courage in the face of hatred. What else can I tell you? She's a really wonderful writer and so smart. But go to her website and Google Truus Weissmuller.
I think we have a jacket here too.
No, we do. Thank you. Where's it?
One of these.
Here it is.
Here we go.
Beautiful. Look at that.
Yeah, gorgeous.
Thank you. Yeah. So she's brilliant. So there's so much more to this book, but that's the broad strokes and worth diving into. Nothing else can I tell you. That's that.
Read it.
Read it.
Okay.
Read it.
More sci-fi, I
Okay.
think, from moi.
Oh, yeah.
So, one of my favorite sci-fi authors working today is Becky Chambers. She wrote the Wayfarer series, which started with The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, which was nominated for pretty much all the major science fiction awards, the Hugos, Arthur C. Clarke. She also wrote Record of a Spaceborne Few.
Oh my God, he went on about this book. I'm like, Chris,
I know.
he loved.
I'm a bit of a fanatic.
But people loved it. I mean, you weren't alone in that.
No.
That was, got some really great buzz.
Yeah, just totally. Yeah, she's just wonderful and a very humanistic approach to big idea space operas to a degree. She also wrote A Closed and Common Orbit. So this is a novella. It's coming in September, and it takes place kind of after the 22nd century, where, as you all probably know, space is not a very friendly place for humans. It will kill you, and it won't give a single darn about it. But at this point, there's been this kind of revolutionary breakthrough where humans can be biomodified, where they can pretty much exist relatively easily in space, and so there's this huge boom to space exploration. And so you follow this one young woman, Ariadne, and she has 3 crewmates, and she is exploring this cluster of potentially habitable worlds far, far away, light years away from Earth. And basically, again, when I talk about the humanistic element of Becky Chambers, it's very intimate. And what she's basically exploring is Ariadne is considering all these incredible, amazing things that she's seen, all the adventures she's been on. But she's been away from home for a long time. And if she gets back, it's going to be a very different place than when she left, just by, due to the sheer magnitude of space and time. And so she starts documenting what she's seen and contemplating, how will she relate to the Earth? How will its citizens relate to her? And how have things changed? She just always finds a really interesting, kind of unique way to turn classic sci-fi tropes on their head and really, again, dive deep into what makes us human, even in the far, 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 far future. she's just amazing. So we don't have galleys yet on this. It's again coming in September, so I'd expect them relatively soon. So if you're a Becky Chambers fan or you want to be, because again she's amazing, let me know. I'll keep tabs on it and hook you up with a galley when they become available. So there you go. To be taught, if fortunate.
Yay.
Or if I ever said the title, actually. So there you go.
Okay.
But they saw the jacket, so.
Also, something else that you guys said last time was that you wanted to hear more sci-fi, fantasy, and nonfiction. So, which brings me to, where's my jacket? How cool is that, Scooter?
That's pretty sweet.
Okay, Diamond Doris by Doris Payne. This is an Amistad imprint, published by Amistad, an imprint of Harper. And this is this really crazy, wild ride about the first Black international jewel thief. Doris Payne is a badass, and she managed to steal a lot of things, pay the price, and come out the other end. And she's coming to ALA. All right, so she grew up in the Depression in this coal mining town in Slab Fork, West Virginia, and was told that young black poor girls, your dreams are never coming true, and so people kind of kept her down, and she vowed to turn the tables on the naysayers, especially after the owner of a jewelry store threw her out when a white customer arrived. So she wasn't going to let racism and poverty get the better of her. She was going to show them, and she did. She was also that was her only way to figure out a way to help get her mother out of an abusive relationship. So she was a fiery kid, and so she started to lift things. Started small, and was quite the charmer and kind of funny. And she actually uses magic a little bit to lift these pieces of jewelry. And she starts off at local stores and stuff, and then after 6 decades, she's really quite finessed this. And she's getting big ticket items. Hollywood is involved, and celebrities, and her boyfriend who pawns these things off to celebrities, and it's just crazy. So, anyways, this is what she does, and then she gets caught in the 70s, and she was arrested. She stole a diamond ring. It was worth $500,000. It was in Monte Carlo, and she went to jail, and in 2013, she went to jail. She actually she got out of with the help of some nuns. She managed to break out of jail. She's a riot. So anyway, she's 87 or 88 now. Bold and vibrant as ever. As I said, she is coming to the American Library Association in June in DC, and this is a fun, wild ride. Think Catch Me If You Can. Can You Ever Forgive Me? Which, by the way, did you read that? Did you watch that movie? The book and the movie. Oh my God, Catch Me If You Can, so good. Can You Ever Forgive Me? Melissa McCarthy was in this. So good. Rent it. Anyway, getting off subject. Also, there was a documentary, The Life and Crimes of Doris Payne, that was released last year, and it just kind of shows her life and what she did and what she had to do to survive, and she did. And I can't wait to meet her. And Lainey is very enthralled too.
Yeah, she was all about it. Made me a little nervous, frankly.
Yeah.
I called her out, but
yeah,
no,
we shook Lainey down after she presented that book, because it was like, "Do you have my watch, Lainey? Because you're a little too into this."
Yeah, I asked her about mine too, but then I remembered I don't have a watch.
I don't have a watch. Lainey's like, "I don't care. I'm in the Bahamas." Okay, talk about me all you want. All right, you want to go back to something else?
Sci-fi-ish?
Yes.
Okay. Big book for us coming in September. Cold Storage by David Koepp. So David Koepp is one of the highest grossing, most celebrated Hollywood screenwriters, pretty much of all time. He wrote Jurassic Park, Mission Impossible, Spider-Man. He's a big deal. Let's see, and actually have let's see, his work on screen has grossed over $6 billion worldwide.
Crazy.
That's not chump change for sure. And he has written this really fun kind of sci-fi thriller, fast-paced, And it basically follows two people. First is Roberto Diaz, who's this really high-level Pentagon bioterror operative. And he takes on all these cases, but one he finds that is unlike anything else he's ever seen. He and his group kind of go to the desert, and there's a small town that's eerily quiet. They don't know where anyone is. And so they investigate. There's this crashed satellite. There's something weird going on there. And then he climbs up and sees throughout the town that all these people have climbed, every single person in this town, they've climbed up to the roofs of their houses, and they're all dead, partially exploded. Kind of gross, but it's how it begins. And basically what you find out is there's this extremely highly deadly organism that is incredibly infectious. It spreads with incredible speed, and it kind of turns you into a zombie whose only desire is to continue to spread. So you start like kind of running at people, and then eventually your head will explode and infect other people. It sounds really gross. It kind of is, but it's really fun. It's done in a very kind of, I don't know. It's not like overly heavy. It's kind of like, your favorite pacey Hollywood thriller, but in book form. But he manages to kind of contain this really deadly organism. They put it way deep down underground, put it in cold storage. There's the title. So it can't spread. But, the recession happens, there's cutbacks, and this facility that they use, like a mile underground, it's kind of forgotten about, and it's sold to this storage company. So now there's this giant storage facility sitting on top of this place. And with global warming, things aren't as cold as they need to be, and this organism starts to seep out. This is decades later, so Roberto Diaz is now retired, and you follow these two security guards working in this storage facility. One's an ex-con, one's a single mother, and they're both so well written. Like, they have this interesting rapport. They don't know each other that well, but they start to, and they're really funny, and they have these great quips and this great back and forth. But they unwittingly find themselves essentially at the center of this because, again, this organism is starting to escape. People are coming to the storage facility and getting infected. And basically the only people that can save the world are these two very unlikely heroes, as well as Roberto, who has to come out of retirement. And it pretty much all takes place within the storage facility. It's just so much fun. Again, it's one of the, it's just perfectly paced. And again, it's something you would expect from such a celebrated Hollywood author, or writer, excuse me. I'll read a quote from Blake Crouch. "To be simultaneously terrifying and hilarious is a masterstroke few writers can pull off. But Koepp manages in this incredible fiction debut that calls to mind a beautiful hybrid of Michael Crichton and Carl Hiaasen. Cold Storage is sheer, thrillery goodness and riotously entertaining." I think that puts it well. Terrifying and hilarious when you're kind of framing this. So good. It's a huge book for us. Coming in September, we do have galleys. Great cover. Let me know. Highly recommend. Cold Storage.
Let's say Michael Crichton and Carl Hiaasen.
Yes.
It's perfect.
Yes.
So you get the idea. I
Yeah.
meit's like, it's kind of funny. I mean, it's smart science fiction, but fun
Smart.
too.
Yeah, it has heart. It gives it weight, and it's really, really good. I love the two characters, the ex-con and the single mother. It's just, they're people you want to follow through the craziness. So.
But you don't want to take yourself too seriously when your head explodes.
No, yeah, it gets a little too heavy otherwise.
Yeah, really.
It's handled perfectly.
Yeah,
So.
Scooter.
You also get kind of the viewpoint of the organism, so he's kind of like telling you its thought process, or it's like, okay, I'm going to go this, and I'm going to climb this tree, I'm going to explode and spread, and that's not like the entire book, but he does everything well, but I just thought that was an interesting little narrative device as well. So,
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Maybe we should talk for a second about cast podcast.
Oh, Harper Collins Book Buzz.
Book Buzz.
Check it. Okay, just for context, that's our intro song. We have a podcast which Lainey has spearheaded. She's a podcast aficionado, fanatic. There's a fine line, but she is amazing. She spearheaded it. And we highly recommend you check it out. The Library Love Fest podcast. Available on SoundCloud, Stitcher, Spotify, iTunes, everywhere podcasts can be listened to. I don't know if you want to say anything, Virginia?
No, I don't.
You don't want to say anything?
All right, fine.
Okay.
Force me. Sorry. So, yes. Sorry that Lainey's not here to go on, but we can certainly do. We'll do right by Lainey.
Yes.
Yes. So podcasts all the way. Lainey has her own podcast, and so we were relying fairly heavily on Lainey to like guide us into podcast land. And so we do a bunch of different things. Some of the audios from these presentations are stripped, and we make those a podcast. We have editors unedited come in, and they speak with their authors. They'll either come in and talk about books themselves, or they'll talk to an author and have a conversation, which is very cool. So we do a lot of different things. Recently, Lainey and I went to the New York Public Library and spoke with Quinn Glazier and Lynn Lobash about what they do, about challenges faced by librarians, and it was for National Library Workers Day. We posted this on our podcast, on our blog. But, you know, in the broader, it was a great conversation. We sat around and just talked about lots of things, readers' advisory and discoverability and the challenges that are faced by librarians who have to know as much about romance as they do about sci-fi. So it was just really, really cool to dig into their little brains, which are not little. Well, they might be little, but they're very intense. And so we celebrate them, celebrate you. And we just had Lori Rader Day in here, and she spoke with her editor. So we do a lot of really cool things. What we want to know from you is we have a lot of content, and we want to know from you guys what you think we should be doing to spread the word even further. How to get this out there. So if podcasts are your thing, we would love to hear what you have to say about, you know, what we can do to sort of get this out there on a broader scale, because it really is good stuff. I mean, it's a shame for it to be sitting there and not be heard by more people. So anyway, that's my plea. But also, if there are more things you want to know about, like you said, you would love for us to talk a little bit more some nonfiction and some sci-fi and whatever. So anything that you would love to hear, let us know that too, because we are at your beck and call. So check it out. Go to Library Love Fest. There's the old card catalog drawer, and you can click on that and you can hear all of the interviews. I wasn't going to say my interview with Kate Mulgrew, but it's on there. Mm-hmm. And that's an hour, and it's so, you know, you might want to drive around and listen to that instead of sitting at your computer or your phone. But anyway, is there anything else?
I'll plug as well. I have an interview with Neil Stevenson, whose new novel, Fall or Dodge in Hell, is coming in June. So very proud of that interview. I felt like I held my own. I was a little intimidated because Neil Stevenson's like a mega genius, but it's a great interview. I love the book. Check it out. Vote for it for library reads also if you want, because the votes are due in about a little less than a week. They're due on the 1st. So we'd love to see it make the list. We have a full list of all our lovely June titles, including Jean Kwok's Searching for Sylvie Lee, which I triple love. I guess that's 9 loves total there. So yeah, check it out. Cast your votes.
Love.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. And Chris's interview with Neil is great. And Willie's is in there too, right?
Yes, Willie Lawton. Yes.
They're
yes.
fantastic. So yeah, do check them out. They're wonderful interviews.
Yeah. We all, Laney, Virginia, and I think we all have our own, you know, little special mix, but they're all really, really great. So
yeah,
so much goodness there. And speaking of Lori Rader Day, she was in town again. She was in town for the Edgar Awards, and she was a finalist for Best Paperback Thriller for Under a Dark Sky, which is a great kind of Agatha Christie locked room mystery, kind of murder mystery, set in a dark sky park in Michigan, which I absolutely love. So pacey. And also, regarding the Edgars, we have a few congratulations in order to Allison Galen for If I Die Tonight. Another celebrated thriller author. Again, she won for that category. And she does really great, like, multi-perspective mysteries that are ripped from the headlines. In this case, a star athlete's hit by a car, and kind of the loner in this high school is the one accused. And it seems like a really black and white narrative, like, you know, the poor star athlete, the evil kind of loner guy. But then you trace this case through a bunch of different people who are involved. It's just really tightly wound, and you will not guess the truth behind this case. Really, really good. And you don't have to take my word for it. It won an Edgar, so there you go. And then one of my favorite books that came out last year, James McLaughlin, Bearskin, which is his debut. He won for best debut thriller at the he's an Edgar Award winning author now. Congratulations, James. And this is a really beautifully kind of like lyrical literary thriller about this guy who's on the run. He's working in a nature preserve in a very like solitary life, but he's also hiding from a bunch of really dangerous Mexican drug cartels. He kind of double-crossed them, and this guy's like this wilderness expert. He's kind of an assassin, but he's trying to maintain the peace. But then something happens, and he's exposed, and there's some very deadly people coming to this park for him. But he's kind of, this guy spends part of the book in this kind of fugue state, and it's really strange but beautiful at the same time. It's just really, really good. Very kind of literary thriller.
So let's hold all three of these up, because they're all big supporters of libraries. They've all been to the American Library Association at one point or another, and I don't know, we're just, it's a real honor to have these guys on our list. So
super proud of them.
Yeah, and such nice people, honestly. So wonderful. So really lovely people.
Congrats to all.
Yes, congrats to all.
And keep your ears peeled for the Lori Ritter Day interview, because that's going to be great.
Oh yeah, that's going to be amazing. So that should be ready probably next week. So we will let you know when that is up. Okay. Can I talk about something fun for a second?
Yeah.
Which I've talked about. Not that all this other stuff is not fun, and I have talked to you about this before, but I just have to tell you again how much I love this book. I'm going to keep talking about this book until I'm 112. That and How to Forget by Kate Mulgrew. Have I mentioned Kate Mulgrew's How to Forget? On sale May 21st. Anyway, I'm just going to say it's great. Okay, nothing to see here. Kevin Wilson, I'm just going to say it's great. And it doesn't go on sale till November. So sit back and let me just keep telling you for the next 19 months how great it is. Nothing to see here. This is our lead read for fall 2019. We have pick one a season, and this is the one. I just love this book so much. It's about these two girls who come from very different backgrounds, and they end up going to the same school together. And one is the daughter of a prominent Atlanta family, and she's being groomed for greatness. And the other is plucked out of nowhere, and she's basically selected because of her athletic prowess, and she's smart. She's a smart girl, but they're from two different sides of the I don't know, street, fence, road, whatever. You know what I'm saying. Anyway, but they become really good friends, and something happens, and one takes the fall for the other. Guess who? Right. So the kid who comes ragtag takes the fall for the kid who's deigned for greatness. Fast forward, then they go their separate ways, and it's sad in a way, but it's just the girl who comes from nothing is my favorite person, because she's so much. I keep saying she's like the character from Lolly Lamb. She's come undone. She's scrappy. She's a wise ass. She's smart. And she's capable of so much more than what she settles back into. And fast forward, they reunite as friends, and the woman who is the other woman who is sort of deigned for greatness is now involved with this man who is climbing up the social and political ladder, and for reasons which you'll find out later, he has two children that were with his ex-wife. He gets these kids back, but these kids have an issue. And they kind of can't keep these kids out in front because something's up with these two kids. So they ask this the other friend who they've let bygones become bygones, and they're friends again and whatever. And she says, do you want to be a nanny to my kids, to my stepkids? So she's like, all right, okay. And she's like, well, there's something's up. What is it? And it turns out that these kids, when they get excited or anxious or worked up or upset, they start to smolder, literally, and flame out. And I know that sounds so crazy, and I don't know how he's done it, but Kevin Wilson has managed to make this a believable book. it's a believable story. You're right in there, because by the time these kids are starting to flame up, you love them, and you love the character who's taking care of them, and she's so protective of them, and she ends up. I don't want to tell you anymore. I just want to tell you that it's great, and you have to read it because there's so much great character development in this book. And he's a magician. Ann Patchett's a massive fan of this guy, and I see why. He's a great writer. And this is not his first book. He's gotten nothing. Family Fang and Perfect Little World. Kevin Wilson's a great writer. So Nothing to See Here is our lead read. And I love it. I'm so happy it's our lead read because it's really brilliant. So November goes on sale. You're just going to have to wait 8. But there's galleys, I think.
There are Andy galleys. So.
And Wendy galleys. So trust me.
Yes.
Just trust me. Okay. What's next? How much time we got?
How are we doing, Scooter? Can you see the time?
Uh-oh, Scooter, your thumb/fingers on the screen.
I was just trying to move it around, actually. I was like,
Thank you, Lillian.
I don't see it. I don't know
Well,
where
Lillian
it was.
sees your finger.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I see your finger.
That's
Yeah.
weird. It's not showing.
Scooter,
up
could
here.
you please cut your finger off?
I'm gonna have to.
Hold it, I'll take care of that.
Sorry, Lillian.
Where?
Where? Oh, there it is.
Whoo! What are you talking about next?
Oh, let's see. So I think I will talk.
It's gone now.
The finger's gone.
Thanks, guys. It's go. Okay, just making sure. Thank you. Sorry.
Talk about
really
something a little different.
Oh, yes.
Yes,
Cool.
The Way of the Wood Shop by Alexandra Z. Creating, designing, and decorating with wood. So Alexandra Z is she's really, really popular. She has about 120,000 Instagram followers. I have 200 to put that in context. I was really proud I hit the 200 mark on Instagram.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I have 2.
Yeah, there we go.
Hello.
But she has 120,000. She hosts a popular web series, Tools for Taste Made. And she hosts carpentry workshops in her Oakland studio. The maker trend is a big thing. I think it's cool not only just for the skills you learn, but I think it's a very therapeutic thing to work with your hands and make things and have that physical thing there in front of you that you can keep forever. And this is not just like a photography book of Alexandra's amazing work. Here she is, super cool. This is her working. You can see these designs. Like, these are kind of her signature designs. You can see in the background, like the overlaid wood and everything. But it's a how-to guide on kind of what tools you need, some starter projects that you can take up, choosing the right lumber, type of wood, grain, again, the tool collection. But it's also, again, beautifully illustrated. All these, I have a few more.
So cool.
Yeah. Her studio looks amazing. I'd love to go. But again, I think it's just a great way, one, to decorate your home, make gifts for people you love, and just do it for the sake of doing it because it's just a really enjoyable experience. I think something many people are eager to tap into, but maybe aren't sure how to begin. So go make stuff and let Alexandra help you. The book is coming in October. That's The Way of the Wood Shop. So having worked, again, and made some things myself, I have to say this was super helpful, and I think it is inspiring. So it'll maybe light that fire that you've been looking for. So, love it.
What'd you make?
Well, I made my bookshelf.
Oh, yeah, right.
Which I've toted around with me. New York, if you're lucky, you have like a 10 by 10 room. Not much space, but the one thing I do lug with me everywhere is my bookshelf that I made, and of course all the books that rest upon it. So you need a good bookshelf. So I'm sure you can use some of the skills you learned from Alexandra to make your own beautiful bookshelf. And maybe someday I'll show it off for you all.
You should.
Yeah.
Should take some pictures, or just like, I don't know, we'll do Facebook Live from your where is it, in your bedroom or your?
It's in my bedroom.
It's in your bedroom.
My boudoir.
Ooh, ooh, it's getting warm in here. Scooter's like, what? No, that's cool. That's very
Scooter's
cool.
shaking.
Maybe you could make a birdhouse. Wouldn't that be so cool?
Ooh, that would be cool.
That would be super cool.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so 25. We have 5 minutes left. Okay. Well, really quickly, Your House Will Pay by Steph Cha. This is coming out in September. Steph Cha is the crime editor for the LA Review of Books, and this is a story about about the aftermath, sort of the LA riots. It's about racial tensions in Los Angeles, and it follows two families. One is Korean American, one is African American, and it's there's been a shooting of a black teenager, and so all that tension comes back up again from the unrest of the early '90s. So this young girl, Grace Park, she's lives with her family and the Korean immigrants. And there's something going on in the families. There's a rift with her mother and sister. There's a reason why. She's trying to find out, doesn't know. Then you meet this young man. His name is Sean, and he's got his own fractured family. His sister was murdered back in 1991. So this new shooting is bringing up all these painful memories. And so it's sort of like this convergence of these two families and how it's like, it's decades later, and it's like nothing sort of changes. There's loss, there's violence, there's racial tension, and police violence, and social movement, and cultural identity. I mean, she really takes it all on. Does an amazing job with this book. So that we're running out of time. But I do want to make sure that you know about that. This is Your House Will Pay by Steph Cha. Really powerful. And how cool is this jacket? So isn't that something? Do you see it? At first, it was like, wait, what is that? I was like, oh. I get it. See? Flame is lit. The match is lit. Put us through the chain link fence with those palm trees. L.A. Oh, so good, so smart. Okay. Can I do one really fast?
Definitely.
Okay. So, do you guys remember The Child Finder by Renee Denfeld? That was an amazing book. If you haven't read that book, give us a jingle, and we'll send you the paperback. It was made the Library Reads list in 2017. I love this book, and it is about a child finder. It is about a person who, when cases turn cold on missing children, this woman, it's a novel, and this woman at the center of it picks up where the police have left off, and it's as much about her as it is about the case. So the Child Finder, back in 2017, was just wonderful. I mean, pages and pages of these crazy great reviews. I mean, it goes on and on. Library Reads. Oh yeah, look at this. So this is, if you go to Edelweiss and you pull this book up, this is just a smidge of the wonderful quotes that it got. The terrific raves. So she's back with The Butterfly Girl. It is. Oh, thank you, Christopher. It is. It's a companion. You do not need to have read The Child Finder in order to read The Butterfly Girl, but I suggest that you do, only because you will love The Child Finder. I love that jacket. I love that book. The Child Finder sold over 80,000 copies. I mean, really, really wonderful. And so this is another story of lost children in Oregon. And so she's. I mean, it's set in Portland, Oregon. It's about homeless children who are on the street. They've been sort of discarded. There is a missing child at the center of this, and so this character, once again, takes this case under her wing. More than that, I'm not going to tell you about. You just need to pick it up. But she is such a gifted writer, Renee Denfeld.
Are there arcs of The Butterfly Girl? Someone's asking.
Indeedy, dude. Oh,
Vicky is asking.
I'm your new best friend. Just send us an email or text us or, I don't know, carrier pigeon.
Yes.
Look how beautiful.
Owl.
Look at this. Look at. Oh. And then you have this nice, oh, God, it's so good. It's just beautiful. Please, please, please know who Renee Denfeld is. If you don't, you should. And you should start with The Child Finder, and then you'll want to read The Butterfly Girl because she's amazing. So please, just write to us. We'll send you whatever you want. I think we're almost out of time.
Yeah.
So, what do you want to do? What do you got? Why don't you talk about Planned Paradox? We have time on this one. So.
Okay. So this is a book that's out now. You can get it. It came out in April. The Plant Paradox Cookbook: 100 Delicious Recipes to Help You Lose Weight, Heal Your Gut, and Live Lectin-Free by Dr. Stephen R. Gundry, who's one of the more trusted, I think, health and wellness doctors working today. He wrote The Plant Paradox, which was a New York Times bestseller. So this is a companion cookbook that will help you with recipes that avoid, I think, a less commonly known irritant for your stomach, which are lectins. which are in kind of like what you would think are healthy foods, like tomatoes, zucchini, quinoa, brown rice, things that you would think would be really hard to cook without. These are, part of what people consider to be a healthy diet, and which is a challenge enough. So when you kind of take that and then want to take it a step further to really help your gut and the mind-gut connection, because it is about not just your gut, but your, psychological health as well. Dr. Gundry helps you do that. These are all really delicious lectin-free recipes. And he also lets you know how to make some high-lectin foods safer to eat, just how you process it and cook it and peel it, things like that. So a really, really helpful book. And I think, just being able to really feel that improvement in your, emotional and psychological well-being, it will pay dividends. And again, he's the one you want to trust for this. So please do check it out. It's the Plant Paradox Cookbook by Dr. Stephen R. Gundry. And it's, again, on sale now.
I love that. It will pay dividends.
Oh.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
You know what? I think you should end with this guy because it was requested.
Yeah.
So you should.
Again, sci-fi, fantasy, and a big deal for us, Boundless by R.A. Salvatore. This is a Drist novel. So R.A. Salvatore is a beloved fantasy author, and Drist is a long-running character, but last year R.A. Salvatore started a new trilogy featuring this character, which was timeless. It was a New York Times bestseller. There were obviously a ton of Drist fans who were eagerly anticipating that. And I really love this novel, which is coming in September, because with old school fantasy, sometimes there was this kind of macho, very masculine air to a lot of the characters and the tropes. And in this case, you have an older character, Zaknafine, who is the father of Drist. And he's been dead for like a century, in the good old days with his, he was a great warrior, and he was a friend with the mercenary Jarlaxle. Kind of that old school glorified action hero. But he's dead. Someone brings him back. We're not sure why, but he's back. And he's very alarmed to find his son, who's now palling around with dwarves, elves, and Drist is actually married, which is very alarming to Zaknafine. But he's kind of waking up, and he's figuring out, these are the new times, new allegiances, new people, new heroes and heroines in this world. And so he partners with Drist to kind of fight these new adventures. And this world is so very immersive and very unique. I think that's why people love these Drist novels so much. But they're kind of swashbuckling, sword-fighting adventures, and you'll tear through it. And just incredibly imaginative world building. The last one, Timeless, got a starred review from Publishers Weekly, who will say, all readers will find pure, often heart-racing enjoyment as they are drawn into Salvatore's beautifully crafted world. So we don't have galleys yet for this, but I'm sure there are a lot of Drist fans eagerly anticipating it, so please let me know, and I'll be sure to get one in your hands as soon as it's available. Again, Boundless is coming in September, so really, really excited. And I think the jacket treatment is just amazing, and it really worked with Timeless as well. They look amazing together, so please check it out.
Please
do
read our books.
Kindness.
So I think we have to go. Where's your little... Christopher. All right. We're going to
Ready?
sign off now. The only way we know how to.
This sounds... All right.
Okay. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.